Thank you. Sorry that we're a couple minutes late. The board has been in closed session, and we have no action to report from closed session. If you could please, oh yes, yay, we have a flag. If you could rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item is student reports. Ms. Daly, do we have student reports now that we finally have school in session?
We do. We're going to start, though, with a gift from the Marsh ASB, and Mr. Marchant is going to come up and welcome you with a small token of their appreciation for holding your meetings in their wonderful new building.
Good evening. I'm Jay Marchant. This is Wesley Mahoney. He's one of my sixth graders. We brought him here today if we need any questions on our sixth grade, but he's also going to help us out. So what we have for each one of you, because we know it can get hot and maybe you get a lot of talking going on and you need some water. So we got you each one of your own clean canteens, and they're filled with our nice little filtered water with ice in it over there. Thank you.
You have
ready?
no idea, Mr. Marchant. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, young man. What was your name? Wes. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you, Mr. Marchant, and the Marsh Gators. Super nice gift, and thank you for letting us use your wonderful facility. And that was a beautiful segue. Our next report is a student report. Dave McKay is going to lead that off, and we are just giving a brief update on how the junior highs are doing this year, and in particular, our sixth grade program.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm going to just give a little brief introduction and turn it over to our stellar junior high principals to give a little mini report out. But as a parent of a sixth grader, just had her first dance. It was awesome and totally not anything like the sixth grade dance that I went to. So it was like 300 kids packed in the gym like a rock concert. There was no like awkward, weird stuff going on. Everybody was having a good time. It was weird. It was like... Yeah, it was, I mean, you couldn't walk 20 feet without a parent being there. Most of the parents were there because their kid asked them to be there. There was about 15 staff there. It was like the safest, coolest, most positive vibe that you could expect, you could wish for at a junior high dance. And it was great. DJ was awesome. Everything was appropriate. And it was great. And really being on all the campuses a few times already this year, that's really indicative of the overall climate on campus. The sixth graders have added, I feel like a sense of life and like a different kind of pulse to the campus, and it's just a lot of excitement going on, a lot of positive things. And so Jay, Pedro, and Leonard are going to elaborate on that a little bit at each site. Come on down, fellas. Don't be shy.
While they're coming down, did you consider whether it's because your daughter is different than you were as a sixth grader?
She's very different,
and we're grateful for that.
All the right ways. Yes, absolutely.
All right, you ready? I brought my sixth grade too, again with me. He's my security for the evening. So things about the school year's going. Marsh right now has 866 kids at our campus. Sixth grade enrollment this year is 268. And then we're in the mid 290s, 98, 96 or something for the other two classes. Staffing challenges for us this year. Our campus is very crowded. We got that explosion we talked earlier that from 820 to 866. Right now, we have 11 teachers teaching 6/5. That means they're not taking their prep, so we can fit all the students on our campus. They all volunteer to do that. I appreciate that, so we didn't have to have individual teachers running from building to building. So that's, we're underway. I want to watch those 6th grade teachers a little bit for them teaching 6/5, going all the way up to 210 kids in one day that they're seeing. But they all say they're doing a great job, and they're going along with that. School culture, one thing that our staff is working with our staff and our students, it's a growth mindset. We're constantly telling kids, it's a research was done by I believe her name is, Carol Dweck. She's a Stanford professor. It's basically how you talk to kids and to get them to improve. So instead of saying, one of the things they saying you're smart, oh, Jimmy's smart, but what we want to say, no, Jimmy's a hard worker. Jimmy knows how to do hard work at night, how to study. You don't want to just say smart, because if they run into a situation where they can't answer, wait a minute, I'm smart, now what? So we want to make sure that they have that mindset of no, or if a kid says, I don't know how to do that, we always say yet. So what's our next steps? So they understand that. So that's one of our school culture things we're working on. Another thing that we're kind of working on now is peer teacher reviews. So 3/4 of our teachers have already now gone and done peer observations in other classrooms to watch other teachers. So they're split into 6 groups, and right now 5 of the 6 groups have already gone watch their teacher, and that teacher has posed them a question. I want you to look at my students on this question. Are they engaged? Are they collaborating? Tell me how you can do. They're not supposed to just, they're engaged, but why are they engaged? How are they engaged? And then we give them time to meet, and that's one of our focus areas that we want our teachers to do peer rounds on our campus, and it started this month, which has been pretty exciting. So I'm going to pass it off to Wesley, because he's going to kind of just tell you, if you guys have any questions, how the 6th grade transition's been going. He's here for you because he's one of our new students. Okay?
Mr. Marchand, put the microphone down. It moves very easily. Thank you.
He's going to want you to ask him questions.
So how's it going?
It's going good.
Did you find it difficult to find your way around to all your classes since you're used to just being in one class?
No, want to keep on going, and you really get used to it, and it's really easy.
What so far has been your favorite focus? Math, science, reading?
I really like foods because I love cooking. So my elective.
Fantastic. Do you have really cool appliances and things to cook with and make a variety of things that you get to share at the end of the period?
Yeah, we just finished our lesson of cookies, and now we're doing breads like muffins and cinnamon rolls.
So how do you feel being the youngest students on the campus? Are you fearful or intimidated by any of the 8th graders?
Actually, no, because I'm used to it with I've been in school plays and all that, so no, I'm not really scared.
Did Webb help you out?
Yeah, Web, I liked it because we got to go around and check out all the school campuses, and it really got me used to the school.
So Wes, can you bring some treats next time now that you're in cooking?
Sure.
Thank you.
Would you rather listen to me or listen to a student?
And could you start by sharing what elementary school you were in before moving to Chico Junior?
I was in Rosedale Elementary School, double immersion. It was really, really cool because you got to learn a bunch of different people that were from a bunch of different places. Some people might be from a different country. They moved here. And yeah.
Do you have a lot of dual immersion experience in your classes at Chico Junior?
Yeah, half of my day is in Spanish.
So how did your first few weeks at school go? How did you fit in with the other kids? Did you form some new friendships?
Yeah, it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of people, and I memorized my my where all my classes were within 3 or 4 days. And everybody is really nice. All the 8th graders are nice. All the 7th graders and 6th graders are really nice. And the campus is really beautiful. There's places to eat, and lunch is 45 minutes, so you can sort of chat with your friends and go to the library, check out books. It's really fun.
I understand the improvements in the new library are pretty cool and people are liking that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part in the library?
I mostly the bigger books. I like reading Harry Potter. Harry Potter is my favorite
cool.
series.
Okay, so I have the tallest 7th grader on your campus, Cody. So
Yeah.
yeah. But so in the context of science labs, have you guys had a chance to do something exciting in the science labs?
Not yet, but my elective is STEM, and it's super fun.
Ooh, good.
Right now we're doing paper nets with no other tools, just paper and origami.
Oh, cool.
It's really fun.
Did you do the boot camp?
Which one?
Web boot camp beginning of the school year.
No, I didn't.
Okay. It was just one of the advantages that I heard from Chico Jr., the kids that got to do the longer orientation, although
Yeah.
you're doing great and Wes is doing great. So,
Yeah.
okay, good, thanks.
Yes.
You guys. Sorry, buddy. Not yet. Not yet. Want to make sure you guys get a little background. Chico Junior, we're at 832 right now. Our 6th grade class is 252. We are full. Some of our classes are still at 37. Some of them 38. So they're large. But what made it difficult for us at Chico Junior was to be able to balance all of our dual immersion and our GATE/honor classes, because all of a sudden we needed to make sure that our dual immersion students each, it was all balanced out. But along with that, I mean, the school looks fabulous. Our community, I mean, just super appreciative of what they did. And once again, facilities and did an amazing job with the bathrooms, the science, and everything. One of the biggest things that I keep hearing from all our students is that they're super proud of being there, which is great, because I don't mind saying now that it's nice to know that our facilities now match the heart of our teachers. So thank you.
Good evening. Unfortunately, at the last minute, my student was not able to attend.
That's because she's at basketball practice. I forgot. But if you have any questions for Emma, you can ask me, and I'll answer for her.
So Emma's a little busy these days. But again, like Mr. McKay said, our dance went off really well. None of our students were misbehaving, and so everybody had a great time. I can't say that for some of the adults. I heard that a couple of adults had to be asked to leave because they were dancing inappropriately. That's just a joke, that's just a joke. Moving forward, our total number enrollment at Bidwell Junior High School is 974. So we are at capacity crowd. Our 6th grade enrollment is 321. Some of our staffing challenges, obviously, for our part-time teachers is just having to travel, and so. But we've been able to unify as a staff, and many of our teachers who teach in various schools have been able to welcome some of our other teachers, and they've been sharing rooms. So they've been very, very, very helpful to each other and allowing a little bit of time for preparation before from one period to another. School culture, I thought it would be important as my first year as the principal of Bidwell to come in and kind of rally the staff around something that would be very simple for us to kind of build on. So our culture this for the year and hopefully years to come is to build relationships between the students, the staff, the family, and the community. So that's something that we're echoing on a daily basis. Instructional, in terms of one instructional focus, we've been able to maintain our instructional leadership team. And through our instructional leadership team, we're going to be looking at ensuring that we're enriching ourselves in the best instructional practices in order for student achievement. And our staff has been really welcoming to those opportunities. And so we look forward to working with the staff sometime towards the end of the year and then into the next school year as the ILT team and myself and the other administrative team take on those professional development opportunities. Some of the other positives, many of us, including I believe a couple of our board members, will be attending this year's National STEM Conference. And I'm really proud as a first-year principal to say that not only will we be going there to continue to enrich ourselves with the opportunity, but to also be cheerleaders to 3 of our staff members who have been selected to be presenters. So I look forward to seeing all of us support them in their presentations. So I look forward to hearing their presentation 3 or 4 times. Some of the other things to celebrate is our STEM program is huge. With the flight in space, with our Lego robotics, with our digital software, and our drama course, and then also now this year our gardening. So we've had a lot of support from the district and M&O. Thank you so much for lending us a hand and building us an area where we can the kids can grow vegetables and spices, and they've been doing a great job of doing so. Last thing I want to just share is we had our first community and family engagement, which I call Coffee with the Principal. We were at basically capacity crowd, so I believe that maybe by month November we're going to have to stagger those meetings because we had over 40 parents attend, and basically our goal is to continue to showcase all the great things that are going on year-round to the parents, putting faces to our programs, to the hard work that our staff is doing. We have staff members lined up to present about their particular assignments and programs that they're in charge. Next month, we will have members from our BLAST program talking about our BLAST program after school. We will have our counselors speaking to the parents about some of the services that they provide beyond just counseling. And I think the month after that, we have already our librarian to talk about a lot of the great things going on with our library and our computer programming and all the books that we're purchasing. So I look forward to seeing it grow and staggering those meetings so that everybody feels welcome. Thank you.
I don't go away yet. The gardening you mentioned, that was a class that we approved last year, and it was a very student-driven request to establish that class. So I'm happy to hear that it made. Where again? Remind me. Where are they doing the growing?
It's close to the back of the. I guess there's like a little greenhouse in the back of the school, along the side of the school where the new bike rack.
Oh, okay.
So it's all the way in the back, really right there by that grass area. There's some planters there for them to grow, and they've been doing a great job of keeping it up. So we look forward to protecting the planters and continue to let the vegetables and the spices grow and continue to work to house it a little bit more so it's safe over the weekends. But it's the kids are just so excited about that elective course.
Fantastic.
This is not a question in particular for you, but a little concern about the 6/5 and how exactly does that work? And are the teachers compensated in some way for that extra time? How exactly does that work?
So our teachers that are working 6/5, we have a 6-period day for students, and teachers usually teach 5. In this case, the teachers will be teaching 6, so they are giving up their prep period. But they do get an additional 1/5 pay for doing that, so there is compensation for that.
Okay. And there's no other opportunity though for time as far as, because I'm sure that having the time and the place to prep.
Yeah, that is something, it's voluntary. You know, nobody can be forced to do a 6/5, so it is something when you take on a 6/5 position that you recognize that prep is going to be happening outside of the school day.
Okay, so that's part of the deal.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I just want to salute the teachers. I mean, these are now schools that are jammed full with some pretty amazing kids. Some so-so principals, but some pretty amazing kids and teachers. And, you know, we took a step here because we needed to make space at our elementary schools, but I'm really, really impressed with the quality of, the quality of the job that they are doing. Because this is a really important transition. It actually fits with the whole academic of the California standards, the next gen. And so, you know, I look forward to think what Wes, and I didn't catch our young lady's name. Thank you, Maddie, I'm sorry. What they're gonna have to tell us next year. I'm sure by that time they'll be official student leaders and maybe even the basketball player. Yeah. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you to our junior high students and our junior high principals for that presentation. This was a decision that the board made 2 years ago, and now we're seeing it implemented. And it is very exciting, and the culture on the campuses is wonderful. So I know it was a tough decision at the time, and we do have full campuses, but we are now more closely aligned with the rest of the state in terms of configuration and program. So again, thank you all for everything. It took everybody, M&O, facilities, custodial, everybody to make this work. So huge thank you to all of them. So we're going to continue with the theme of positiveness here, and Joanne is going to do a presentation and recognize our California Honor Roll school recipients.
Yes. We have 9 schools that are on the California Honor Roll list. I have a letter to read to you, but first I'm going to ask each school to come down, identify the school and the people that are here to represent the school tonight. So we're going to start off with, wow, you guys really lined up. Can I have Jerry come down?
Hello, I'm Jerry Crosby, and I'm here representing Inspire School of Arts and Sciences, and I am by myself tonight. But that's in part because we have our first production starting tomorrow. So we have a lot of people on our campus and a lot of students getting ready, and everybody come watch Sherlock. So they will be opening tomorrow night, but we were one of the recipients of the California Honor School.
Are we going to just hold the applause to the end? Okay.
We did. We all ordered our banners, yeah. This is Becky Fowler, our PTA president at Marigold. And Maggie Doherty, and she's our school site council president. And I invited them to join us. And thank you.
Good evening. I'm Holly McLaughlin, principal of Parkview Elementary, and this is Kathy Norley, who is our fantastic PTO president, and she gives a tremendous amount of hours to our school. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Rogers, principal of Emma Wilson Elementary School, and I have our lovely PTSA president, first-year president, who did a bang-up job last year. So she was elected. Yeah, I think she was kind of, I don't know, forced into the position. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but she's doing a great job.
She missed a meeting, but you haven't introduced her by name.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. She's so awesome. This is Jennifer Archambault. You know, like Rushambo, Archambault. That's how I'm remembering her last name. Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Hello, Brian Holderman from Hooker Oak. This is Kelly Steinbach. She wears a lot of hats at our school, but tonight she's wearing the hat of parents of 2 wonderful kids.
Good evening, Kristen Schrock, Little Chico Creek, and with me I have Carrie Fashing. She is Little Chico Creek's PTA president and Marsh Junior High's vice president, and she does everything at our school, so she was the person to ask. Thank you.
Well, ours was hanging up, so it's a little sticky. So I had to take it down for tonight. Bruce Bainar, principal at Shasta Elementary. I have with me Sarah Alderson. She is a first-year PTO president, has 2 wonderful students at our school. Thank you.
I'm milking Wes, by the way.
He's getting extra credit. Or
He says he
money or
wants in and out on Friday. All right, to my left here is Courtney Conley. She's one of my English teachers. She's also my school site council president. You know Wes already. And here we have Tammy Adams. She's my PTSO president, 2 years running. So that's amazing that she's come back for that second year, and I appreciate all the hard work she does and all the hard work obviously our teacher does and doing site council. Thank you.
I didn't hear earlier if we thanked the Chico High audio and video folks for taking care of us tonight. So if you two could put cameras on each other to make sure you get on tonight, just to make sure we recognize you guys from Chico High. They're awesome. So with me tonight we have some students who are double dipping. They're here on a homework assignment, and we all know that they're the proof of all these banners. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Haley Barnhart. I'm the ASB secretary at PV, and I am a senior.
I'm Emily Massa, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Lindsay Kramer. I'm also a senior.
I'm Lindsay Roach, and I'm a senior too.
I'm Danny Anopa, and I'm a senior.
I would like to read a letter to you from James Natchich, PhD, President and CEO of Educational Results Partnerships. Dear Superintendent Stalley and school board members, the American education system has a secret. Despite a national focus on failing education systems, many of our schools are doing very well and successfully preparing students for college and career. After an extensive analysis of student data for every public school in California, the following schools in your district were clear leaders in getting their students to grade level and beyond. Thank you for that. These schools have been named an honor roll school for the 2015 California Honor Roll presented by Educational Results Partnerships and the Campaign for Business and Education Excellence. Honor roll schools will receive recognition in the press as leaders in school achievement and be provided with a banner to display on campus. They will also be featured on our website where educators and policymakers seek out high-performing schools so they can replicate their success. The 2015 Honor Roll recognizes public elementary, middle, and high schools that demonstrate consistent high levels of student academic achievement, improvement in achievement over time, and reduction in achievement gaps. For high schools, Honor Roll recognition includes college readiness in students. This year, the California Honor Roll recognized 1,714 higher performing, higher poverty schools that are distinguished for their academic achievement and for closing the achievement gaps. Through national research, we have identified a common set of success factors in higher performing honor roll schools and districts. And I want you to listen to this because this is basically your LCAP goals. These include clear, specific learning objectives aligned to college and career readiness, along with evidence-based instructional practices, establishing a system-wide mission of college and career readiness for all students, investing in human capital, maintaining data and assessments to monitor school and student performance, and deploying resources and guidance to support schools' efforts to prepare all students for our college and career. From all of us at Educational Results Partnerships and Campaign for Business and Education Excellence, I send you our heartfelt congratulations and thank you for a job well done. We're very proud to tell your story and promote your success in serving students well. And we thank you too. So.
That makes 40% of our schools earn this honor.
And I just want to say, this is why we are here. It is the community partnership. It is student excellence, student achievement. I would like us all to stand up and give them a round of applause. It is an amazing achievement. Huge kudos, and thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do every single day.
And I appreciate principals honoring the parent support component of these very successful schools and students. We, we truly cannot do it without that partnership. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to move right on into the Superintendent's Award with the permission of the board. And I would like to call up Brian Holderman, who is going to present our certificated Superintendent's Award for the month of September.
Hello, as I said, I'm Brian Holderman, and as I said, Kelly Steinbach wears many hats, and I caboozled her into coming here tonight. So Kelly, could you come forward? She doesn't know she's receiving this award. I have deemed Kelly Steinbach as the, well, I can do that person on our campus. When I came to Hooker Oak 3 years ago, I really wanted to have a reading specialist at 1st and 2nd grade. I had one at 2nd grade. Kelly said, I can do that. And she went back to school and became a reading specialist for the 1st grade group. Then last year, the district formed the DLC, and I asked for volunteers for that. And Kelly said, well, I can do that. And I said, great. And so she started doing the DLC, and then she realized, oh, I have to know Illuminate. And I said, don't be afraid, you'll get it. And now she has done so much work with Illuminate that she is our go-to gal on campus whenever we have any problems with Illuminate. Last year when she was doing DLC, she said, I'd like to take on the SBIT process and run the SBIT, be the SBIT coordinator. And I said, well, you can do that. So she started doing that, and with what she's learned in Illuminate, she's realized that the SBIT process has some glitches. So this Friday, she's working with Tim Karras and Carol Sylvester and working out the glitches so that everybody else prospers from that. So what else do I want to say? So she is committed to all these assignments, is a 2nd grade teacher, is a mom, is a wife, actually has time to fit in a workout. She's at school earlier than I am when she gets done with her workout. And now she says, I'm going to become an administrator. And I say, yes, she can do that. So this is Kelly Steinbach.
Thank you. I'm really surprised. I didn't know that this was happening tonight at all. And really, I do it all because I love the kids, and I have these kiddos that just need that extra something. And I'm able to do it. I have the background, I have the education, and I have the means and the desire to make it happen. So thank you, and thank you for giving me all the opportunities to make it happen.
Thank you for making it happen.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And now to present our classified award, I'd like to introduce Rachel Tadeo from Citrus. Come on, Rachel.
Good evening. We're really happy to be here today to recognize Doug Alden. He's been our custodian for 17 years. He's worked in the district for just about almost 20 years. He is truly incredible and superior at what he does. He and Howard, our other custodian, clean the school each summer from top to bottom and maintain that pace throughout the school year. Aside from that, he does extra chores like climbing up on the roof, taking down the balls that have been kicked up there, clothes, we don't know how they got up there, frisbees and other miscellaneous objects, climbs back down and unclogs the toilet sometimes, and responds promptly to individual requests by classrooms or other staff. His greatest asset, I have to say, is his love for the students. He is known to tease them until they giggle. He eats lunch with the kindergartners almost on a daily basis and engages in conversations with them. He helps students who need a job around campus, some who don't always fit in, and he finds a way to help them fit in at school. But he's not always perfect. He has been known to mutter under his breath when a student, I was gonna say and an adult, throws up on a carpet instead of a trash can. He looks out for all of us and promptly responds when we need him. So any kind of emergency or anything that we need, Doug is always there and willing to help. He is loved by the children and the staff of Citrus, and we truly appreciate all he does for Citrus School. Thank you, Doug. You're welcome. Oh, look, turn around. So. Yeah, the poster. They worked hard on the poster.
Yeah, you've got to get a picture of the sign, Mr. Sullivan.
And when I worked with him at Citrus, he was known as Super Doug, too, very appropriately.
Super Doug, huh?
He's not just Doug, he's Super Doug. Got it.
And this month, we're very fortunate. We also have some community superintendent awards. And to do so, I'm going to introduce Kevin Baltima.
Tino, Seth, could you come on down? Just have you sit right here. Thanks. So we want to take a moment to recognize two members of our community who have served the district well. When we passed Measure E, part of that bond passage that we would have a oversight group, a committee that would make sure that the dollars were being spent appropriately. And so the scope of that work is actually fairly narrow. When they really look at it, it's really to look at the expenditures to make sure that they're being spent as they are written in the bond language itself. However, their expertise and knowledge of our school is broader, so we really do rely and share a lot more information with them. These are well-respected members of our community. We are very, very fortunate for their serving in this very important role. We owe them our gratitude, and we wanted to take an opportunity to thank them publicly. So thank you very much for serving us on the Bond Oversight Committee for Measure E. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you very much. And
wow, that's heavy.
Kevin, can you say their names again?
yes, this is Tino Navo. I'm sorry, I didn't do that, did I? Tino Navo and Seth Darish. Oh, okay. Go this way.
Tina, thank you. I'm personally aware of your many years of service as we've served on district committees, and you show up occasionally with those great big PG&E checks, and we certainly appreciate that as well.
So finally, rounding out the superintendent's report, just do want to encourage anyone, if you have questions about the Chico Unified Bond Measure, please be sure to ask any of us. We can be factual. We can't tell you how to vote, but we can certainly share information. And finally, we are heading into Turkey Fest season. So if anybody would like to help serve turkey at each of our school sites, let me know. We can arrange that. With that, I will turn it back over to our president.
Thank you, Superintendent Staley. Next thing is announcements. Does anyone have, Kathy?
We had this last time, but it was kind of far away from the date. So the Chico Parade of Lights is a community event, and a number of our schools, do we know how many at this point are participating?
I do not know yet
Okay.
exactly how many.
Anyway, it's a parade that is held downtown annually, and the date is October the 15th. So really encourage you to look forward to that. And the other one, which is more of just a community thing, is Taste of Chico is this weekend. So that's another one on Sunday, noon to 4. Thank you.
On that same function, the Parade of Lights, it's the time of year when the stores may not be fully stocked with the lights yet. If you have, as I do, a box of unused lights that still work, Farshad Azad at Azad's Martial Arts would be happy to get those lights to one of the participants that may be in need through their contact with who has entered through the schools or any other organization. So if you have extra lights out there, let Farshad at Azad's know, and I'm sure they could be put to good use. Is there, I have one other announcement. A week and a half ago, I believe, Ms. Daly, we were contacted and visited by Petty Officer Jeff Hilton, who was a 2004 graduate of Pleasant Valley High School and is currently serving on active duty in the Navy, going to helicopter flight school at the moment in Idaho. But the significance of his contact was he had a flag that had flown while he was serving at Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. And he has presented that flag to the district, and we are going to display it proudly in the district office. And we again want to thank Petty Officer Hilton for his service and for his presentation of the flag. Okay, items from the floor. This is the point at which we invite anyone who would like to address the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. If you have something of interest you'd like to present to us, just step, don't trip forward, and just identify yourself, please.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Charles Withune, former Chico High sports booster. Now I come to you as a Chico tree advocate. We're concerned that the urban forest of Chico is changing so rapidly. We are losing hundreds of our large native trees, and they're not being replanted at anywhere near the rate to maintain that part of our urban forest. You're probably aware of the National Climate Assessment Study. Identified 3 of the major hits on the planet, and one of them was deforestation. We've heard tonight about community partnerships, and so I was interested when a group of neighbors came out to the Chico High field in the middle of cutting down 8 of these large sycamore trees. And I've talked to several people about it, the project manager and some other people involved. And the main problem with the trees that I've been told is dropping leaves on the track, to which the neighborhood has offered volunteer services to keep the track swept on a regular basis, and particularly before any time it's used. That can be a place where the community can partner with the school district to keep the leaves off the track. Another problem was the roots, potential for roots lifting the track in the future. To that, I would like to make you aware of the new parking lot at First and Main Street. They planted sycamores in very small planting spaces, and how they're getting away with it is dry wells on either side. We can mitigate the potential. Right now, there's no problem with roots on the track. We can mitigate future problems just by digging like post holes. An arborist and I went out there and we figured that you could we could dig a post hole 6 feet on either side of either tree. And so there'd be 2 per tree in a row. You just dig this post hole down just about 24 inches. You put in perforated pipe, drain rock, and water there. Now the roots are going to follow the water. Get the water deep, the roots aren't going to be on the surface lifting the track. Another mitigation factor that could be done right now is we could trench and put in a root barrier in between the row of trees and the track. So there's 2 very viable techniques for mitigating problems with those trees that have been used successfully in other places. This is Chico, City of Trees. The city's logo is a tree. And since I live in this neighborhood, and I've been on that field a lot as when my daughter was going to school there, and now my granddaughter goes to school there.
Mr. Withrow.
Is the time up?
Yes,
Pardon
and
me.
I'm sorry, I failed to mention that to you as you began. What I would like to know, have you been made aware of the meeting that we've called on this issue for October 6th, I believe?
We do have a meeting scheduled with the members of the Mansion Park community to talk about Chico High master plan, which I assume trees would also be part of that conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. I guess I wasn't sure if I might have had a conflict that day, and so I was anxious to come here to this meeting just to give you some update on some ideas how the tree issues could be mitigated.
No, your input is perfectly appropriate and welcome at this time. This is why we have it and why we ask for it.
Thank you very much. If I can possibly make that other meeting, I'll do that too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue to provide information to the district either through email or written delivered messages. We're available to receive input and ideas through any of our processes for communication.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information.
Okay, are there any other comments? Yes, sir? And again, I failed to mention before, but there is a 3-minute limit, and the red sign will, well, I guess we do the yellow sign in 30, and then the red sign when it's done, and then I jump right in and cut you off. No, sir, just identify yourself, please.
My name is Robin McCollum. I used to be the county tree maintenance supervisor. I'm a certified arborist and certified urban forester. I come with Charles from Chico Tree Advocates. And of course, he's stolen a bit of my thunder. I came to offer technical suggestions for mitigation of what I suppose is the root problem. I'll be happy to do that, but my recommendation would be to put in a root barrier as well as irrigation wells where the roots will, rather than defeating the root barrier, go where the water is placed. Also, I would like to offer my guidance, assistance with other maintenance tree work that's done throughout the district. Over the years, I've observed some that is not helpful to the trees because apparently the staff that's doing that probably has a lot of other jobs as well, but they're not trained there, and that would not be that complicated to improve and take better care of the trees. And I'll be happy to get in touch with you and discuss technical details at greater length. And thanks.
Thank you.
One thing too, I wanted to compliment the district on this wonderful bioswale that you've got going through the campus here. This is great. This is what we need to see, is the integration of engineering and biological sciences so that we can have both our built environment that doesn't harm the natural functions that we all depend upon on this beautiful blue marble. Thank you.
Thank you. That was, this plan was on purpose. And I'm glad you approve. We are grateful that it was done on purpose.
And President Robinson, I just might add, we have planted over 50 trees here at Marsh and 4 trees at Chico Junior as we've done our construction projects over the summer.
What was the number at Marsh, Kevin?
Actually, 35 trees were specific to this project at the multipurpose room.
Mhm.
I believe we had 11 new trees associated with the science building at Marsh, and then we had 4 trees at Chico Junior. And that's off the top of my head. I think that totals 50. So.
Thank you. Any other comments from visitors? Items from the floor? Okay, thank you. On to reports from employee groups regarding negotiations. Kevin, are you going to take this?
Right. There really isn't anything to report at this time.
Thank you. Do we have any scheduled negotiations with any of our groups?
We did meet with our CSEA group this last week earlier, and then we are scheduled to meet with our teachers union, CUTA, tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, the consent calendar. Members, would anyone like to pull anything from the consent calendar? Kathy?
I just need to pull 9.1.1.
Thank you. Any other members? Anyone from the, John, from the floor?
I need to pull 9.2.7. It was inadvertently put on the consent agenda. It should have been action discussion.
927. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion on the remaining items?
I move that the remaining items on the consent calendar be approved.
Moved and seconded. This is our first vote of the evening, so it does have to be by roll call.
Griffin, aye.
Hovey, aye. Robinson, aye.
Lusthal, aye.
Kaiser, aye.
Thank you, members. Okay, Kathy, 9.1.1.
It's kind of weird. I have to pull this to note that on August 24th, and these are all post-surgery things, that I had to leave at 8:14, and on September the 7th, I had to leave at 7:10. So that's just the only notation. Thank you. With that, I move the item.
Thank you, Kathy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Any comments from visitors? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Yes, you pulled 927?
Correct. So the question here is to ask the board to approve resolution regarding Prop 56. And I thought we might want to give you some information on that before we ask you to vote on it. So that's why I
Please.
pulled it. So I have Shelley Brantley and Michelle Morey here from the American Lung Association to talk a little bit about Prop 56.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Brantley. By way of introduction, I'd like to say that I am a product of Chico Unified. I went to Chapman Elementary, I went to Chico Junior High, I went to Chico High School, so I'm a very proud yay, yay. And
Hi, I'm Michelle Morey. I'm the health educator at the American Lung Association.
And I'm here. This is about. And then from beginning, we said, and then, yep. We're gonna do a tag team thing here,
Yeah.
so.
Teamwork. Can you guys hear me well if I'm right here? Okay, perfect. Perfect. You can see everything? Perfect. Everyone? Good. Okay, so good evening. Thank you for having us here. We just want to talk to you a little bit about Prop 56. So we'll give you a little background information about it right now. So basically, the gist of Prop 56 is it's a $2 tax on tobacco products. It includes e-cigarettes and vaping, which is a new trend that we're seeing in young adults and teens. And it increases the cancer research funding as well. We'll give you more information about all this. That's just the beginning. So So basically, the gist of it is it will protect your kids, teens, and young smokers from starting in the first place. About 17,000 California kids get hooked on tobacco products each year, and they'll eventually die from it, tobacco-related illnesses. It's been proven in other states that you have a higher tobacco tax, it actually lowers the rate of smoking. We are actually ranked 37th out of 51. We're 87 cents in our tax. New York is number 1. And it's proven that teens are price sensitive, so when you raise a tax, it lowers the rates of them starting. The new trend, like I said, is e-cigarettes and vaping, and that will be included in this initiative. And that's really important because they are big tobacco targets them a lot with all the flavored products and the enticing vaping devices. So the big things we want to say is it will shift the burden from the taxpayer to the people that are actually smoking. So if you do not smoke or buy tobacco products, you will not be paying at all. It will be only tobacco users, and they'll be eventually paying for their health problems later down the line. The majority of the funds will increase health programs, not just our program, but nutritional programs and other health programs, and things to prevent smoking and cessation programs. It's supported by not only us, but the National American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network, which also does a lot of work here in Chico. They have an office here. And it quadruples the state funding for cancer research, which is our #1 killer, especially lung cancer. So we just want to give you a little more background on why we're here. The no side is very loud. They are big tobacco rolling it. They're the #1 people that are paying for it. They have a lot of money invested, so you might see some of their stuff online. You have to go to, do you want the video? Sorry. It is actually on a different tab. It's right in the internet. The E. So we want to show you their video really fast. It's really short. And then you push the big screen. That farthest. Yeah. So push play. Allow. Oh. We're having some technical difficulties. We apologize.
Here they come.
Sorry, the video. That's weird. It was working earlier.
It was working earlier?
Yeah, he played it for us just to double check. Maybe just reload it? Huh. Oh,
Good
there it is.
schools are important to my students and California. That's why voters passed a law to ensure that schools get 43% of any new tax revenue. I was astounded to learn that Prop 56 was written intentionally to undermine that guarantee. Prop 56 raises $1.4 billion a year in new taxes and gives most of that money to wealthy special interests like insurance companies. But not one penny goes to improve our kids' schools. That's just bad math.
Sorry, you guys want to try again?
Okay, yeah, we'll try.
Go ahead. Yeah, you should be good to go.
Okay.
Good schools are important to my students and California. That's why voters passed a law to ensure that schools get 43% of any new tax revenue. I was astounded to learn that Prop 56 was written intentionally to undermine that guarantee. Prop 56 raises $1.4 billion a year in new taxes and gives most of that money to wealthy special interests like insurance companies. But not one penny goes to improve our kids' schools. That's just bad math.
All right, so Shelly's gonna take over, but that is basically what they're putting out.
So you saw what they claim. That's big tobacco. You didn't notice their logos very prominently on there. You didn't see that it said paid for by Philip Morris or paid for by RJ Reynolds. They kind of hide behind that. We want you to know that they're the ones that are funding the No on Prop 56 campaign. Everything they said in that ad, and believe me, you're going to see a lot of ads. You're going to see ads with, you see the teacher, there's going to be a nurse, there's going to be a law enforcement officer, They're going to tell us that the money is going to be diverted from law enforcement, like they're saying from schools, and they're going to talk about black market and gang activity, none of which is truthful and none of which has anything to do with Prop 56. So what I want to tell you is Prop 56 would increase funding available for school districts and county offices of education. In fact, the Nonpartisan Legislative Analyst Office estimates an increase of $20 million in new funding annually, which would more than double the current funding for comprehensive anti-tobacco education and cessation efforts in our classrooms. You are no doubt aware, I'm assuming, of the Clean Kids. Marsh is very active in the clean effort. It's a collaborative tobacco education project led by Ann Brodsky. She's your Chico Unified 2B coordinator. Ann is here. If you have any questions, she'd be happy to answer them. But the projects those kids have worked on so successfully, those are funded by tobacco tax dollars. Those are funded by Proposition 99, the first tobacco tax in the nation, by the way. In fact, Chico Unified School District has been awarded 2B funding for every year Proposition 99 has been around, except for one, and that was just one incident where due to a technical error, the application was not allowed. So Chico Unified School District has a rich history of supporting tobacco education efforts and by their students, and supporting Prop 56 would continue that legacy. I want to leave you with one quote, and then Michelle will follow up, but here's an exact quote. "We have carefully vetted Prop 56. It protects school funding while helping to keep our kids from getting hooked on deadly addictive tobacco." And that was put forth by the California School Boards Association, your state board of school boards. So that's a group that strongly supports Prop 56 and is encouraging you folks to also do so.
All right. And then with that being big tobacco, there's a cool graphic. And have they ever lied to us before? This is in 1994 when they all claimed that under oath that tobacco was not addictive, so we can trust them, right? So I just want to leave you with this. We're asking for your endorsement in a resolution. The California State PTA has endorsed us, the California School Board Association. We've also gotten over 200 state, county, city elected leaders, and that's growing every day. We have new endorsements coming. We've gotten some local ones as well. And we just really we need endorsements just to show the education's on board with this and not in the lies of big tobacco's putting out. And Shelley's gonna end it.
So we ask, I believe in your packet you have a resolution, so we'd like to ask for the Chico Unified School District Board to endorse yes on Prop 56. And we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
We also have included an endorsement form if anyone wants to personally endorse it. A city board member can endorse it as an individual as well if you feel very passionate about this. We've had a lot of them do that as well.
We have had tremendous presentations by the Marsh group at our board meeting, so I'm very aware of how active and successfully active they are here at Marsh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members?
Thank you.
Okay, I move that we pass resolution 136-16, which is in support of, is it Prop 56?
Yes.
Second.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I got the wrong number there. I don't know where I came up with that. 1353-16. Sorry about that.
Thank you for the correction. Yes, and it has been moved and seconded that we support the resolution supporting passage of Proposition 56. Any comment from visitors? Kathy, would you like to comment?
Yes, I would. Having been a child when my grandfather died screaming from lung cancer, I also recently discovered through a stepson's being hit by a car on his bike, that your bones don't heal if you smoke. And literally surgeons have refused to do the last remaining surgery until he, quote unquote, completely quit smoking. So I think we focus on the cancer, but it affects almost every area of your life. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, members. And thank you for your presentation.
Come get your forms, guys.
They're signing them up.
Okay, we're now on to the discussion action calendar. Public hearing discussion action on the certification of provisions of standards aligned instructional materials. Mr. Bohannon.
I'm just going to stand up here for a while, it would appear. So every year, due to the Williams Act, we have to have a public hearing regarding our standards aligned materials. I have in this folder signed papers from all of our school principals that they do in fact have enough of their standards aligned materials for all their students, or if they didn't, they have been ordered. So they either have them or they've been ordered, so we are in compliance with the standards aligned Williams Act.
John, have we had any problem with the moving up of the date for this certification?
I don't know where that's coming from. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
John, may I just ask John one question?
Yes.
I was wondering if we have made any progress or headway with the health texts and curriculum, health and or sex ed curriculum?
I think we have, but I think Dave McKay could probably answer that better.
Thank you. I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question related to sex ed?
Just wondering if we're making any progress on our health and or sex ed curriculum and texts, because we had a discussion about that, how they were outdated and we needed to find some new materials.
Yes. So what we have tomorrow and Friday in the large conference room from 8 to 3:30 be our Positive Prevention Plus training. We're expecting about 20 secondary teachers of sexual health education, including some special educators, to get fully trained in the new curriculum. And there's a lot to it. And then we're really looking forward to getting the training. It's out of Tehama County Office of Education. Let me say that again. And we got teachers signed up there. A lot of them making sacrifices to be there. Some also teach CTE, so they were out today to do a workshop. And so we're really making it a priority. They've been cooperative about being at the training, and some people have actually stepped up that are kind of peripheral to the training. They don't necessarily have to be there, but they said, hey, I heard this is going on, and I really want to be there to support my students and make sure they get accurate information. So I'm like, yeah, great, come on down. And so I'm expecting a really good turnout, and I think this is going to be a really important milestone to not just being, California Health Youth Act compliant, but really providing the most accurate information that we can to our students. With respect to the textbooks, we didn't go and cut out those pages in the book. I think, as we look at textbooks, we should, if you tell me to go do it, I'll go do it right now. I'll go pick them up from basketball practice, we'll start tearing. But I think we need to look at a new health textbook anyway. And so I think it's very clear that no health teacher is going to go, oh, I'm not going to do this thing I just got trained for 16 hours on. I'm going to go do the 3 pages. That's not going to happen. Principals are aware of that. So I think I'm looking forward to adding that health textbook onto our adoption cycle that we're looking at.
Perfect. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready for passage of the, do we have to have?
You have to have a public hearing first.
Okay. I'm gonna call the public hearing to order on the resolution 134616, certification provision standard. Is there any comment? Any comment from the public? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on the certification.
Okay, I move that we pass item 10.1.1.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, members? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, passes unanimously. Next, 10.1.2, Mr. Bohannon, the update on the BCOE ROP changes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief update, and then I'm going to introduce you to our new CTE team, and they're going to talk about what they've accomplished so far this year. So over the last couple of years, since local control funding formula passed and ROP became not a restricted program at the county, there's been a mountain of conversations about what that means to CTE and what support there's going to be from the county office that has run our ROP programs since the early 70s. And there have been many iterations of what that might look like, and it came to finally a point over I think in the spring, late spring, that the county basically gave all the districts in Butte County two options. They can either stay and receive supports mainly based on workplace placements and insurance items and those kind of technical items that are involved with ROP programs and work placement, or they would give each district their fair share of the remaining $500,000 that was budgeted in their budget for ROP. In our case, we have 46% of the ROP programs in the county on our sites, which added up to $230,000 of that $500,000. We, like every district in Butte County except for Durham, chose to take the cash and work on transitioning ourselves to supporting our own CTE programs. So with that cash, we keep 2 teachers that are actually BCOE employees still teaching in our CTE pathways. And with the remainder of that cash, we've hired Priscilla Burns and Anita Holmesley to help support this transition. There's a mountain of things that need to be worked out, and they have been doing a yeoman's job for the very short time they've had, and we're almost ready to present much of that information to our CTE teachers. So I'm going to let them come up and talk about what they've been doing. In addition, Kristen Lauer, who is already working for us for the CCPT grant, is now working together so we can have a coordinated effort between all of our grants to make sure our CTE programs grow accordingly.
Ladies?
Hit it.
I'm Priscilla Burns. I have been a CTE teacher for 34 years and really thank the district for this opportunity to align all of our dynamic career tech ed programs and to leverage all 3 grants, Pathways, CTIC, and Perkins, to benefit staff. I think we can bring a lot of equitable services to students across all of our campuses. Anita and I have been charged, and generously, Susan Sullins shared all of the work-based learning documents through the county with us. So that has really helped to streamline what we've been doing in work-based learning documentation, keeping the district legal. We've also been working on sequencing and realigning some curriculum, as well as putting together an advisory board for the district, helping new teachers that aren't CTE typically understand what this world is like, and to also align the very many CTSOs in the district so that we're all compliant. So career and technical student organizations.
Thank you.
So yes, there's a whole new language that some people are learning within this program. So I am CTIG alignment, and Anita.
It is my honor, after being in CTE for 38 years, retiring a year ago, to be a part of this. It brings my passion and my heart that I've always had in this area about helping students, and I'm just so happy to be part of this team. I feel like I am helping the teachers with best practices, with kind of keeping everybody legal, and some tips on how to do it the easiest. It's not easy. And so I just want to thank you for that. We have a conference coming up October 19th that will be doing a lot of training with the teachers.
And I have to say how thankful I am for these 2 women, because speaking of growth mindset, Chico Unified has growth mindset because they hired me I'm an English teacher, secondary English teacher, to lead the CCPT grant for Butte and Glenn County. So it's cool because I'm really involved with CTE within Chico Unified, but I also have a more global perspective in the two counties. So as soon as these changes with ROP came on, I thought, uh-oh, I'm gonna need a little help here. And I'm so thankful because I didn't even know enough to ask the right questions. So I feel like we make a good team. In terms of money, just give you a snapshot. So the CCPT grant, we talked about this briefly at a board presentation last year. Quite a bit of money, $5 million came out of the round 2, $5 million came out of round 1. It's kind of complicated, but in a nutshell, our pathways at both high schools have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then CTEIG came on, and we're thankful because CCPT funding ends this year. So the cool thing, in fact, we put on a PD today. And the goal was to not just focus on the funds, but braiding of funds and sustainability for these pathways, since this is a movement in California. And I think it went really well today. So we're excited about the CTE changes and importance for students and what it does for their futures. And I'm grateful to work with these two ladies.
Thank you. Any questions, members? Are you ready for questions?
Can I just add real quick that
Yes.
in hearing who we have working for us, this group here, and the direction we're going, we've already had 2 other districts from Butte County that have reached out to us, and I think will be coming to our training on October 19th so they can see what Chico Unified is doing. I believe Paradise and Durham both anticipate sending a team to kind of see what our team's doing.
Is that in the large conference room, October 19th?
No, it's actually at the Card Center.
At the Card Center on Vallambrosia?
Correct.
Thank you. Well, I have questions, but I may show up on the 19th and get them all answered.
Please do.
Thank you. This is an information-only item. Thank you. It's good to see you guys, Anita and Priscilla. I was privileged to work with those ladies for a lot of years. Okay, next item on the agenda, Kelly. We have a discussion action, regional occupational program governance. Ms. Staley?
So as a result of ROP turning over the programs to Chico Unified and the fact that we do have an ROP teacher who is employed by Butte County Office of Education on our board, and I will add he is a much loved and outstanding teacher, we do need to clarify the role of the board in governance, and in particular the role of the board in governance as it pertains to career technical education and ROP programs. So Mr. John Ye is our legal counsel, and he is here, and he's going to take us through some of the legal implications on this. So Mr. Ye, welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent Staley. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you. John Ye from Burke, Williamson, Sorensen. I'll be going through a PowerPoint that is available in the posted board packet. So as Mr. Bohannon has stated, there will be a transition in delivery of ROP services from the county office to the local districts as a result of the local control funding formula. And so there will be still a division of labor between the two entities. The county office will provide funding and instructional staff and will evaluate instructional staff, but the district will take over some administrative and oversight duties. But significantly, the ROP instructional staff that is cited at Chico High School will remain employees of the Butte County Office of Education, and the salary for those employees will also be paid by the County Office of Education. So we do have a governance issue that has arisen. Mr. Gary Lustal, one of our board members, has well before he became a member of the board, and certainly well before the transition of ROP from the county office to local districts, has served as an ROP teacher. And currently serves as a teacher for the program cited at Chico High School. Though, as I just said, the salary is paid. His salary is paid by the county office, and he is a county office employee. So, important point to start off with that this is not a situation that actually was created by any action by any board member or member of the district. This is actually something that was imposed by external events. Namely, the catalyst for this is a transition of the ROP program from the county office to the board to the local district. So certainly this is not a situation where there's any allegation of wrongdoing or inappropriate action by any individual. The catalyst really was more external circumstances. But there are some statutes and some rules regarding governance and board membership that these events have caused us to look at closely. And so staff and council will have some recommendations on a going forward basis. So on your PowerPoint on page 4, the slide titled Applicable Law, the Education Code does contain some requirements for an individual to serve as a board member. And the basic eligibility requirements, being 18 years old, a citizen, and a district resident, and a registered voter, those are not at issue here, but those are just listed for background. Education Code 35107. There is a rule in the Education Code that we looked at governing employees serving as board members. And that rule actually exists both in the Education Code and the Government Code, which generally governs public entities throughout California. And basically it states that if an employee of, say, a public agency or the school district is elected to the governing board, the employee must resign from their employment from this district before becoming a board member. So that's a rule really for reference. We took a look at that rule and reached a conclusion that it actually didn't apply for 2 reasons. One, we don't have that sequence of events. We don't have an employee being elected to the board. In fact, we have, as we covered at the beginning, the sequence was that Mr. Lustal taught for the ROP program at the county office level, became a board member, and then the latest catalyst is that program being moved to the local level. So we don't believe that specific statute has been triggered. However, there are other legal concepts at play, and there's a doctrine called incompatible activities, and it's a very general one, but it's contained in the Government Code 1126, and essentially it seeks to avoid public officials, including school board members, from being in a position of divided loyalties. So the concept governs actually the outside activities, usually the form of their everyday employment, and it prohibits a situation where an individual board member, if their outside activity is subject to approval by the board that he or she sits on, then that's considered an incompatible activity. So for example, if we take the example of an employee sitting on the school board, the law prohibits that because that person would be wearing 2 hats, would be wearing a hat as a board member, would be wearing a hat as a district employee, and it wouldn't be clear in some cases whether the loyalty in making a decision would run towards that person's role as an employee or as a public official. So that's kind of the idea behind that position. And these rules are meant to apply to situations, not people. So, and that's kind of an important mantra because we can talk about these situations in the context that we can have 150% trust in a given individual, but the rule governs situations. And so the premise behind these rules, even if we have the ultimate trust in a person, the law doesn't allow anyone to be in a certain situation. So that's the first concept. The second concept is the incompatible activities. It doesn't have what the legal term, I'm going to get a little legalistic, so forgive me. It's not self-executing. So in other words, there's no automatic remedy or fix. So we do look at practical measures to address the issue. So the issue here is that Mr. Lustal remains an employee of the Butte County Office of Education. His salary is paid by the County Office of Education. He delivers services at Chico High School to Chico High School students. And starting this year, we have some administrative elements of that program coming under the district. So this is a situation that has not been brought to us by a third party or a community member. This is actually a situation that internally the district has decided to be proactive about to ensure that because we have this change that came from the outside, from the county office, this really protects each board member and your decision-making process. So the issue here is that there are occasions on which the board may be asked to either deliberate, discuss, or take action on items that may impact the operation of the county, the ROP program, the county office ROP program that's being offered at Chico High School. So certainly, for example, and this is just a hypothetical for purposes of illustration, if the board, for example, is discussing whether the instructors at the ROP program should undergo a professional development program, that would be a decision that Mr. Lustal would be directly impacted by. And certainly another situation, if there's any, the funding for his salary is coming from the County Office of Education, but if the board considered an item that had a potential financial impact on those who taught in the program, then there are measures that we should be very aware of as well. So the recommendation of council is that for any such item that potentially impacts not only on an operational but definitely a financial matter that potentially impacts Mr. Lustal, that Mr. Lustal take the following steps to really protect not only himself individually but the board's decision-making process. And so the first step would be for Mr. Lustal to recuse himself from that item. And that involves the following steps. When that item does come up, Mr. Lustal is advised to disclose to the board and to the public his role as a county office ROP teacher that teaches students at Chico High School, and to disclose that as the basis for the recusal. The second part of it is actually recusing under the laws actually involves him leaving the room, because not only does he not want to participate, but he also doesn't want to influence any decision. So if he's actually present in the room still, the thought is that the remaining board members might be influenced by his presence. And the third step of that is the advice would be that he also announce at the meeting, before he leaves the meeting, before he recuses himself, that not only will he not be present when the item is discussed, that he has also not spoken to any staff member about this item and has not tried to influence any staff member on any particular position. And these are the steps that are traditionally recognized and acknowledged under these conflict laws, under which individual board members who feel that they shouldn't or cannot participate in the decision, they take these steps to ensure the integrity of the decision-making process and to also protect their own interests as well. And so this, I think, will need to come up on a case-by-case basis, but so certainly this issue was on the radar. If the board, for example, discusses and hears from staff on an information item on the topic of CTE in general, but it's not related to any action or discussion item that either is or will be before the board that may impact the ROP program, the determination may very well be that Mr. Lustal would remain and participate in the study session. The recommendation is that any time an issue comes up that does potentially impact the ROP program, that he announced to those present at the meeting his role as a county office teacher in the ROP program. Certainly decisions that directly impact the operation of the program or the financial impact of the program, the recommendation would be that Mr. Lustal take those steps to recuse himself. So that is my summary of the law and the recommendations. Again, I would just emphasize that the chronology of how this happened really underscores the fact that this is something we're responding to external circumstances. Mr. Lustal was teaching ROP before he became a board member and before this transition was made. This is not in response to any particular community members input, but this is more of a self-identified, internally proactive measure to ensure that the board feels confident in its process when it entertains any item in the future concerning ROP. So there's no action that's being asked of you tonight. This is more for information. I will stop at this point to defer to the board president on questions or discussion.
Thank you. Kathy, you had a question?
So, just to clarify, because it's incorrectly identified in our agenda as discussion action, and you're noting that there's no action, correct?
There is no action that we need to
All
take.
right,
That is correct.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Ye. Could you briefly explain the difference between abstaining from a vote and recusing from a vote?
Yeah, abstaining from the vote, actually, that's a good clarification. Abstaining from the vote is actually a subset of recusing. So recusing is the larger process of just taking yourself out of the decision-making process. And so some people think, okay, if I, for some reason, have decided I shouldn't vote on something, I can stay up here, but I'll just abstain when it comes to vote. But if we decide under a circumstance that that it would be improper for me not only to vote, but also just be involved, the law actually is fairly specific that not only do you not vote, but you excuse yourself, so you have not even the appearance that you influence are influencing the process.
Any other questions, discussion? Any questions, discussions from members of the public?
So I would just like to, again, reinforce why this agenda item is here. There have been absolutely no complaints. We do not believe that to date, nor in the future, have we been out of compliance with the law in any manner. But it is our belief as a district and the board's belief as a board that we're very transparent. And so we want to make sure that we avoid any perceptions that might be a misperception on how we are making decisions. So that's why we're bringing this forward at this time. This is our first year with the new model with ROP, and we are 6 weeks into school, and just felt it was really important that we are transparent about this transition from the county to the district and the governance impacts that it has. So thank you, board, for your patience with this, and thank you, Mr. Ye, for your excellent explanation. And
yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, John, it was easy to follow through the steps, and I think what we'll do too is to keep the PowerPoint presentation as a reference point for any of us that may have questions about anything, because it's very precise and very logically presented for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
Okay, next item on the agenda under business services, Mr. Baltima, interfund borrowing.
We tend to bring this item to you every year, specifically as it relates to our cafeteria fund. We receive delays from the state and federal governments on our reimbursements for nutrition service program. So we often run a cash deficit in Fund 13. So we do ask for the ability to interfund borrow. This year we are also pointing out that we may see a cash need in Fund 12 as it relates to the preschool program as we start operating that program. Again, we will incur expenditures in the first year of startup with a delay in the reimbursement on those as well. So we're asking for the board's approval to engage in interfund borrowing. Any dollars would be paid back to the general fund on an interest basis, a calculation done through the county treasurer.
Okay, what's before you members then is the approval of the interfund borrowing between funds.
So move 10.2.1.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded in stereo. You guys will have to arm wrestle for that one. Excuse me. Is there any discussion, comment from visitors? Anything else from members? I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous. Thank you, members. And 10.2, no, that was 10.2. 10.3, human resources.
So before we go into this item, I do want to note Mr. Hanlon is absent this evening, and on behalf of all of the districts, And board, we want to send him our best wishes. He's struggling with a ailing father, so definitely family first, and that's where he needed to be tonight. So with that said, items 10.3.1 and 10.3.2 are fairly routine items that the board has dealt with. However, Mr. Cole, our Director of Classified Personnel, is here this evening if there are any questions. So we will start with 10.3.1, and I would ask the board if they have any questions regarding that item.
Okay, members, do you have any questions of David? It's been noted. I do. The positions are usually vacant when these actions are taken. Is that the case here,
That's
David?
the case here with the categorical position, and that was a position at Marigold that was supporting a combo class, and that class is no longer needed this year.
Okay, thank you.
That was my question. I move 10.3.1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass the resolution 135016. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you, members. Okay, Mr. Cole, the second resolution on elimination of classified services.
I would like to say at the onset here, the IPS classroom position, I've been talking with our director of special ed and trying to, there may be some confusion on the time there, and I'd like to pull that and bring it back to you and make sure that it's accurate. We believe it's correct, but I just want to confirm that. So
Okay, so you'd like to remove the IPS
the IPS
classroom?
classroom, the .7 position that
Okay.
was at Mariposa.
Any objections, members?
No.
Okay, we'll bring that forward then at the next meeting after it's been clarified. Thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions?
I had a question. I was just interested in knowing, I know for Mr. Morris, the data and assessment analyst played a large role in helping. How is that going to be filled in? Is there not a need for someone to help Mr. Morris?
So we have restructured that. We actually had 2 people that were in that category, and with our change where our assessment system has gone to more of an electronic mode, we're not doing as much of the hands-on.
Oh, okay.
So there will still be assistance, but it will be at a different level.
I see. Okay, thank you.
With that, I move 10.3.2.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any further questions or discussion? No, we tabled the one item, the IPS classroom position. The other 2 are what's under consideration, the data assessment analyst and the instructional assistant bilingual at Sierra View. Okay, any discussion from members of the audience? Members, you ready? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Unanimous, and you will bring that back to us,
Yes,
David.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, I covered my agenda up. Oh, thank you. Okay, items from the floor. This is an opportunity for any members of the public to comment, ask questions. Seeing none. Announcements. Any further announcements, members, staff?
I'd like to thank our parent rep. We haven't had parent rep for a while, so
Oh.
we really appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you. I didn't notice you over there. Thank you. And I know that on the resolution on the Proposition 56, I know that PTA is in strong support of that passage as well. Had I noticed you here, I would have invited you to weigh in as well. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, it looks as though we're at the point of adjournment. Thank you very much.